I have to push a little bit, so we are going a lot of time. Let's think a little bit. So, this is all fun about the vibration and the body, but how do we actually, because you know, some of you may say, well, this is all fun, hearing, you know, but how do you actually connect all this when you play, when you use your own piece? How do you connect to the piano? Through the art of touch, of course, right? You only touch the piano with this part, right? Right? Right. Nothing else. Unlike other instrumentalists, as I said, you know, they always have more connection. We don't. So, Franz Liszt, he said, all technique originates in the art of touch and returns to it. One must have fingers so developed, so supple, with such variety of expression ready at their tips, that the emotions may be given full play with no obstacle being presented by the fingers. Okay? So the question is, when we play, when you used to play, I mean, when you practice, how do you feel your finger pads? Do you feel them at all? Yes? Good. Good for you. Because, you know, they have 4 functions in life, literally. We can feel hot or cold, right? This is pretty warm. Okay. We can feel pressure, right? If I take a bottle, I feel some pressure. If I need to open, there's some pressure. We can feel where things are oily or not. My face, oily, very oily. Okay? And we can feel pain in our fingertips as well, right? Okay, so 4 functions. Do we feel all 4 when we play the piano? Do our students, do they feel all 4 when they play? Or do they feel anything at all? How do we know? How can we make sure? I mean, do we talk about this? Yes, we do. Excellent. So well, but how do you make sure that they actually do? Just relying on their answers?
They move their fingers.
Sometimes they do. Exactly, exactly. But anyway, through the art of touch, as I said, we connect to the instrument, and this is very briefly, I'm not going into depth with this, even though I spend a lot of time on this when I work with the students. But the thing is, in life, okay, in life, we all connect to the world with our fingertips as well, finger pads, right? Because see, now I'm disconnected, but if I want some water, I have to, you know, go there and pick up the bottle, and my finger pads, you know, they're of paramount importance over here, because I apply the pressure I need, right? Like, if I don't have pressure, the bottle will fall down, right? I have to apply some pressure, so, okay. And I don't think about it as well, right? If I need a pencil, I just go and take it, right? And it's the same thing, I apply the pressure as much as I need, right? Okay? And I don't think about the movement as well, right? It's a very natural movement. I'm talking about grasping movement, which all of you do 1,000 times a day, right? You always grasp things, right? You need your chips, that's what you're going to do. You're going to take it, grasp it, pull it up, you know, and then that's what you're going to do. Okay, when you're hungry, that's what you do. Yeah, you feed yourself like that. When you like something, when you like things, what do? You always want to get things closer to you, right? You want to see them, you want to hug them, you want to kiss them. It's always emotional a bit towards yourself, right? When you don't like things, what do you do? Get out of here. Get out of here. So I was thinking, what if we apply this very natural grasping movement here? Because this is our friend, we want to connect, yes? We want to be happy with this. And so instead of pushing into the piano, I was thinking, what if I just do some pulling, very, very easy pulling, because this is the basic motion, as I said. You know, I do that if I need a pencil, okay? And so when I do this grasping motion, it just feels natural because I don't have to think about an apple in my hand. I don't have to think about the elbows, where the elbows. I just reach it and I just take it, okay? So to me, this is the most natural moment and the most satisfying to me because we don't have to think about it. So what I also like, personally, and I don't know where I got this idea from somebody or maybe from a group of people. Some ideas I have, you know, I compiled from different sources and then filter it, and I don't even remember. But I really like one-note exercise, okay, in which I combine the pulling motion, the natural motion, the listening and filtering with the body, okay? And I like doing it for every finger, one finger at a time. So basically, I'm not talking about the posture today because it's obvious, you all piano teachers, you know that the posture has to be, you know, erect. And Dr. Tamatis actually, he said, always keep your back straight because you are like an antenna, you know, when you play the piano. Or when you want to listen really well, you are like an antenna, and you all know if antenna is like that, you know, on your car, you know, you don't hear anything. All you hear, okay, but if it's like that, you can at least get some signal, good signal, okay? So that's what we do, okay? Really nice posture, and then with the breath, and just the pulling motion, and here's what I do. I call one note exercise. And I just gently pull it, apply some pressure, as much pressure as I apply in order to hold the pencil in my hand, okay? And so once I do this, I try to imagine that vibration I hear travels through me. So basically, I imagine it comes here, I filter it, I get it into my heart, into my stomach, okay? Into my lower hips, into my knees, into my feet, and then it's out. I filter it, I'm an antenna, I got it, I enjoy it sometimes, so I suggest to students to do this. Yeah, it's funny, but it works. And as soon as you're in this funny state of mind, you enjoy it. You just start loving it, you know? And then another finger, same thing. And I say, okay, do you like drinking coffee, tea? And they go, tea, delicious tea. And it goes through you. The thing that you pretend, you imagine it travels through you, and with time, it does. It does. And the same with the face. You see, I'm just kind of pulling a little bit, that's all. And then one, and notice that I have the same sound, no matter which fingers I use. And notice that the rest of the fingers are not working. I just work with one finger at a time. It's very, very simple, because it's exactly what we do in life. If you want to try, you can do it in your lap, you know, because when you massage and you put your fingers in your lap and you do this a little bit very, very softly, when you do this very satisfying massage, that's what you do to the keys. You're massaging the keys. And this is what Chopin said. He said massage, caress. He said caress. And so this way, I don't think it's caressing, I think it's the opposite, okay? So we do this one note exercise, and sometimes, again, depending on the time and how it goes, we can do even this on the pedal, and you know, just holding the hand right there, because then you can be connected to the piano and feel the vibration so much better. You can feel it here. The vibration goes, it just rings in your brain, so nice. And again, you pretend that it travels through you, that it goes through your low hips, through your knees, and through your feet, and then down, and it relaxes you tremendously. Because we all want to relax when we play. This is one of the ways. Once you pay attention to the vibration and how it travels, it relaxes you enormously. You become attached to it, you become one with the instrument. And that's what Claudio Rouse said. He said, never beat the piano, okay? Treat it as a friend. And that's what Razina Levina, that's what she said to John Browning at his first lesson. He came to Julia, first lesson with Razina Levina. She said, don't treat the piano as your enemy, treat it as a lover. That's what she said, with a thick Russian accent. So, the idea is to become one with an instrument, not to have the piano as that thing in front of you, okay? And so this little gentle massage helps a lot. Okay, so again, I'm not going into depth with this, because there are a lot more, but we have to move on, because time is a little short. Okay, and so once we're comfortable with the body, once we understand how it works as natural movement, it's obviously not enough to enjoy the process, okay? And what else do we need to really enjoy the process? We need our imagination to be at work. We need our curiosity. So how do we use imagination when we actually work at the piano? Now, here are several exercises I would like to share with you. You can do it with your students, okay? And I like doing them individually, sometimes in class. One of my favorites is pantomime. Do I say it right? Pantomime? Pantomime exercise. Because, you know, very often students, they come and they have no idea. They have a certain title of the piece, but they have no idea what it means. So several years ago, I had a student, and she came, she was playing the... Pretty much like she played. She came, she played, she was so like, did the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, you know, very... And I said to her, excuse me, do you know what the title is? She said, no, it's in German. And I said, what? Why don't you translate? So she said, okay, I will try. So next week she came and she announced it. Yes, I found the title, I translated the title. And she translated this as the angels came to town, and it's not the correct translation, but that's okay. It's okay. I did. It was okay with me. And then she said, "So what? I translated the title. It still doesn't help." And I said, "All right. How often do you see angels in town?" And she's a Catholic, and she's like, "Pretty much never." And I said to her, "What if tonight, after lesson, you go outside, nobody's on the streets, everybody's gone, you walk and then all of a sudden, from nowhere, an angel appears. How would you feel? Show to me in your body, how do you feel? Don't play, just walk. How do you feel?" And she goes, and she said, "It would be awesome if I could see an angel, you know," and her eyes were up, and she was almost doing this. And then she went to the piano, and she slowed down significantly, and she was like, "You do this all the time." And I was very happy. Because, you know, we didn't work hard. All it took is just to do this little pantomime exercise. So see, titles sometimes, they're very powerful. And very often students, they don't bother to translate them. And sometimes, you know, even when it says nocturne, you know, some of them they know, sometimes they know, some of them they don't. So I always would like them to know. Not only to know, but if possible, if you do this pantomime exercise, instead of playing, just walking in the character of the piece, okay, and showing on your face the emotions you think are there, or you experience when you hear the music. It's extremely helpful. The other thing I really would like to do myself when I practice, for example, let's say I practice, okay, and I have to learn this. Practice like that and have some visual images really like feeding the music, do you think it would help them? Definitely. Do you do something like that? Hopefully you do, because we have technology, right? It's available. So instead of actually could do it at home when you teach in your studio, you just find some beautiful images in advance, and when they come, the students, you could use the images together, you know? Or the other thing you could do, unfortunately, again, we don't have a projector, but I like collecting different postcards. And many years ago I did an experiment. I brought all those postcards to our performance class. Well, this is just an example, okay? Those are just postcards, some of them, okay? And I would place them on the desk, many of them. And I would play something very, very simple, very slow. And I would ask the students, as I play, please select the postcard you really like as you listen to the music. And please, as you listen, create a little story, like what is it all about? Why did you select this particular picture or postcard? Why do you think it fits? Are you there? Do you want to be there? If you are there, how would you feel? Okay? So basically, even if you could hold a little bit and just around, yeah, just a little bit, just for 3 minutes. And when you play something slow, and then look at the pictures. And then give them time. So, what do you think? Would it help them develop their imagination? Definitely. Very simple exercise. Again, probably some of you do that. It's fine. Keep doing more. Because what it does, it develops a connection between visuals and hearing. Okay? And as Evelyn Glennie, she also says on this in her presentation, she says, whatever the eyes can see, there's always sound. She says, everything I see, I hear. Okay? So, senses, visual senses, they are very, very important. The other thing which I like doing and which I came up with several years ago, it's called making movie exercises. Okay? Because I've been thinking how to make students a little bit more involved into practicing, because as I described before, very often they play but they are not involved. So once I came to class and I asked the students, do you like movies? And everybody was, all right, yeah, of course we like movies. And I said, do you know how the movies are made? And they go, of course we know. And I say, just tell me step by step how they're made. Yes, and so somebody says, first we need a good scenario, we need a good story. Okay, and I said, okay, here's your piece of music, okay, here's your scenario, okay. What do we need next? And they say, then we need actors, we need good actors. And I said, okay, here's your left hand, here's your right hand. And there are so many going on, so many things going on in the music, you can have as many actors as you want. What do we do then? And they said, and then we start shooting the movie. And I asked, do we shoot it from the beginning to the end? And they go, no, of course not. We shoot one episode at a time until it's perfect. And I said, here we go. That's how you practice. You take one episode and you make it perfect, and then you go on. Okay, you don't play from the beginning to the end as you practice. And so I just wanted to show you an example. I had a student. She was working on scheduling 2 polyphonic pieces, 2-part invention. And she came after the talk, she came back to her lesson and she said, I'm sorry, but I don't know how to make a movie out of this scheduling piece because it's contemporary, title doesn't help, it says 2 polyphonic inventions, and so it sounds very contemporary. She played it like this. She played it. That you rented a movie at the movie store, but your machine, only gives you a soundtrack, but doesn't give you the visuals. Okay, so you can hear the music, but you cannot see. So, but if you could see, what kind of movie would it be? So she thought for a moment. She said, "I can see an animal." It was a good beginning. What kind of animal? She said, "It's a wild animal. It's probably a raccoon, and it is lost in New York City." And so here we go. That's a great movie, don't you think? A raccoon lost in New York City. That would be a blockbuster. Okay, so we started like that, and then I said to her, okay, now imagine. No, before I said, okay, now I want you to visualize. Here's a raccoon in New York City. What happens? And she said, okay, it's lost, it needs the food, and the raccoon is looking for food for itself, and for the little kids. And then the raccoon goes into the subway, and then it's outside again, and there later we could hear the ambulance, and so on and so forth. Okay? So she did that a little bit, and then I asked her, and now imagine that you are that raccoon. How would you feel? language is not very good. I would be scared to be in this big city and knowing that my little kids, they need food. And I said to her, how would you actually run or walk, or what would you do? And she started doing in class, all this miracle-like movements, and she was moving and showing that. And her body, amazingly, as she was doing that, got the right character for the music. Because when you move your body, and you move the body with the feeling, certain feeling, the muscles, remember I told you muscles, they're here, but the muscles, they also have emotional memory. Your muscles, they remember, okay, things. And so once she kind of internalized this feeling, she started to play it really differently. It started to sound a little better. And so eventually she performed this piece, and it was absolutely, very, very good. Okay, so keep that in mind, you can do it with these students. The other thing which I personally like doing, even with my own practicing, I call it Tartini method. And the great Italian violinist Giuseppe Tartini, he basically forced his violin students to come up with words or phrases for every phrase in the music they play, okay? So when they would come to lessons, instead of playing the violin, they would have to recite the words of these phrases they have. And the same girl who played this shibri, she also had some words for the melody. Her words were, gotta find some food, gotta find some food. Little ones are waiting hungry, gotta find some food. For tonight and for tomorrow, for my dear little ones, gotta find some food. And so imagine her reciting this, gotta find some food, gotta find some food. For tonight and for tomorrow, gotta find some food. She was so excited. She internalized music in such a way that it became a part of her through the simple phrases, and they might be silly, but it worked for her, okay? I personally do that a lot when I play with them or something. I just love doing it. It's good for the memory as well, okay? The other thing which I do when I play my recitals, or at least what I used to do, I would like to share with you just maybe 3 or 4 minutes. I like to compose a story of the music I play. And how it happened, why did I bring it to the concert stage. I used to do those stories when I was a little girl, when I was practicing, because I told you I was growing up in a very rigid atmosphere, and so to kind of escape this rigid atmosphere, I would always have some kind of mental movies I described today in my mind when I was practicing, okay? But I never told anyone, I never told my teachers because I thought it's bad. I was sure they would scold me. So I never shared, but I always had. I even would write stories down, okay? And when I was hired by the University of Kentucky, my first semester, I came in August and I started teaching in September. The School of Music received a phone call from the provost office, and they wanted somebody to play at the party, okay? They wanted some entertainment, some music. And they didn't want some classical music, they wanted some sample music. They wanted Danube, some easy stuff. And so the director called me because I was new, and he said, Irina, you are new, I'm sorry, I'm very sorry, but I don't want to hear any classical music. I apologize, would you do it? And I said, of course I do it, I don't mind. So I went there, I took this Danube, whatever, I played, it was wonderful. But at some point, somebody, and that was a very small party for fund, well, not fundraisers, but it was a fundraising party for people who donated money to the university. So there were like 10 of them only, okay? So at some point, one of them, he turned to me and he said, is the kind of music you usually play at your recitals? And I said, of course not. And I said, why not? Why are you playing this for us? And I said, because I was warned not to play the kind of music I usually do, not to play it for you. And he's like, why? And I said, I was warned because everybody was afraid that you would get bored. And I guess, you know, he got a little excited and he said, try me. And I said, okay, I'll play some classical music for you, I'll play some Rachmaninoff, but before I play, I'll tell you a story of what I imagine when I play this music. And I just told the story I have in mind. And then I played. And he was like, wow, that's beautiful, they say. Why didn't you play the whole thing with the music? I would love it. Do something else. I did something else. And they completely loved it. You know, and I was very happy with that. And so I went back home and I said to my husband, you know, that's what happened. People loved it. What if there are other people like that? And I'm sure, you know, there are so many people who probably never heard piano recitals before, or even if they heard, you know, if I provide some stories, it's maybe some help to them to be a little more involved in what they hear. And my husband said, okay, go ahead, do it. Do it. We're in America, free country. Do what you want. And so that's what I did. I created short narrations for each piece of music. I performed in this recital. I also had some visual images, but not when I was playing, but before I would play. Okay? And I would like to give you just a little taste of it. Okay? So we'll play this C, we'll play this Haydn, because you wanted to hear some Haydn. And you'll just hear, you'll get an idea what it is, and then I'll tell you another discovery I had, about which I was very, very happy. We're already short on time. Are you tired? No? No? Well, we have a little left. So we're almost done.
Here.
And this is what your students can do. This is what actually I ask my students to do. Compose some stories for the music you work with. Okay? And it could be a very simple story at first, like I'm sitting at home, there is no electricity, I have a candle burning, and I'm writing a note to my girlfriend. What do I write? I write, I missed you so much. It could be as simple as that. So just the first initial idea, and then you can of course develop all that.
It doesn't work.
What? It doesn't